G'day, Paulie. I watched your video last night and I made a video response immediately because I felt so strongly after I watched your video. Anyway, I put it aside and thought I'll sleep on that and I'll decide. Well, I've decided I was going to private the video following this one to you, and then I thought my father was made to private his entire prior existence, and I know he still wouldn't have said anything to you today, so I'm doing it for him because I love him, and I've got to let you know because I know that you don't know. I know by what you said that you don't understand. When Rudd said sorry, you could almost feel the collective sigh of relief. And I tell you what, mate, my body was racked with sobs, and I feel a whole lot better now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that that had to happen. Okay, Paulie, I just watched your video, and I wasn't going to say anything to anybody because I've always kept this very personal to me, but I think you should know. My father was taken from his mother simply because he was a light-skinned Aboriginal child. I don't know if she was a good mother or not, but to rip a child away from a mother and treat a person like an animal is wrong. It's wrong. And I feel you should know that. And I tell you something, no amount of compensation could make up for the pain that you feel, the longing. I don't expect anybody to understand it who hasn't experienced it. And as I told Angry Aussie, and bless his heart, he was so understanding. I only found out because I had to have a blood test, and it kept coming back with the same result, and they kept saying that's impossible, it only happens to Aboriginals, and the whole story came out, and my father was so ashamed to admit that he was Aboriginal. Nobody should be that ashamed. Paulie, I suppose I'm not going to be loved anymore now because, you know, he's the little girl who burns in the sun after 5 minutes, and she's an abo. I never identified, but I tell you, there's a loss. There's a bloody loss that money can't fucking fix. I lost my family. I lost my grandparents. I lost any cousins, uncles, aunts. My father, by the way, was put in a lovely... This is really good. My father, when he was taken, was put in an orphanage. He did not get adopted straight away. And he spent a few years in that St. Vincent de Paul Catholic orphanage. I don't know if he was molested or not because I'm sure he wouldn't tell me that, but I know that he was flogged. And then when he was adopted, he was adopted by alcoholic parents, white parents. White people have alcoholics too. And yeah, the dad used to beat the mum up regularly. When my dad was about 13, his adoptive mother had had enough, and she tried to drink a bottle of weed killer in front of him, which he knocked out of her hands and ran out into the street. They lived in St Kilda then, called out to people, to come and help his mum. When they got back up the stairs, she'd had another one. She'd drank it. And she died in front of him. Now, I'm sure that was worth taking him away from his real mother for, because then that was in the Depression, and my father then had to go on the road and work for food, just for food. He ended up being a boxer. With believe it or not, I don't know if you've ever heard of Jimmy Sharmans. They have young Aboriginal men usually boxing in them, and they thought they had a white guy in their troop. Paulie, I don't really know what you're saying, but I know that I'm shaking, and I know that to me at least that apology meant so much, and I don't expect anybody to get it if you haven't been through it. I don't know what I've just said, but I'm going to put this up in its entirety because I've just watched your vid, and it really upset me, because I thought, oh well, there you go, we can't be friends anymore because I'm Aboriginal and you don't like Aboriginals because we're all money grabbing whatever. I've worked for everything I've ever had. I don't intend to go for compensation. There'd be so much you'd have to prove, and they've waited for most of these people to die anyway. Paulie, I still love you.